My name is Jaroslaw Linke, but I hope you remember me as a Jarek. I'm Senior Solution Consultant at Tacton. I have been here for a while. I started 2018, and from that time, I focus on the customer product implementation, facing different areas of CPQ, including integrations. I'm more than happy to share some insight about integration aspects. So let's try to look at the CPQ from the landscape architecture perspective. And yes, I know that it's not easy to discuss integration aspects without having particular integration in our minds. However, let's try to do that. Let's try to think how CPQ land with the other tools and what are the other tools. If you look from the CPQ perspective, from the landscape architecture perspective, we are surrounded by different tools. We could have CRM in place, we could have ERP in place, and also PLM, as well e-commerce, product information management, and also tools to manage the prices. All of these are surrounding Tacton CPQ. And Tacton CPQ is good at leading configure, price, and quote. That's for sure. But we have also different aspects looking at the landscape of the architecture. CPQ is good to provide good solution for complex manufacturing problem. However, if you start your selling process, most likely you will start in the CRM. CRM is identifying your sales opportunities. You would like to send quotes via the CRM, most likely, and also you can control and check if the contract is signed off inside the CRM. That's intended usage of the CRM. You keep your relationship with the customer there, and you keep all the information required to describe the customer. Once you do that, you will jump to the Tacton CPQ and do the complex configuration. By the way, CRM is a good tool if you sell standard product. Then most likely you don't need to have Tacton CPQ. However, if you struggle with the complex configuration problem, you will end up here with Tacton CPQ. So that's the first connection point when we have CRM and Tacton CPQ. If we put it in the horizontal line, we start with the CRM, in the middle Tacton CPQ, and then once you send the configuration, once you get your quote in Tacton CPQ, you would like to start manufacturing of your product. And then most likely you will have ERP system in place. So that's the horizontal line of the selling process: CRM, Tacton CPQ, and ERP. One of the most important benefits of having Tacton CPQ is to automate order process, which allows you to speed up the accuracy and, of course, speed. As the CPQ provides a handshake between customer needs and order fulfillment, your factory will know what to build and how to build. That's the horizontal part. But if you look at the Tacton CPQ from other perspective, we need to provide to the Tacton CPQ other information, like product information, which will be most likely stored inside the PLM. PLM is a very good tool to design your product and put the journey, life cycle of the product there. There you will design your product, make it running, and then obsolete your product as well there. But you most likely, it is possible that you won't store all of the data information inside the PLM. That's why you have product information management tool, where you can store additional documentation, additional data, which are required to define the product. Those things are connected. However, there are differences. For example, in the product information management, you would like to put things like translation. Translation, I think it's a good example of data that you would like to differentiate to systems. CPQ stands for configure, price, and quote. So once you finish your configuration, you would like to have a price, and you would like to price it. That's why if you have complex and build a lot of logic around the pricing data, it's recommended to use external sources to store this information and have life cycle of the price data somewhere different place than Tacton CPQ. That's why you have price management tools in place. All of these arrows will show you all the possible integration that could have in place in your project. Depends what kind of landscape you have. You will have in place different integration. There is one more arrow that I didn't mention, is the e-commerce. It's possible from the Tacton CPQ perspective that you will create your leads and quotes from different source than the CRM. For example, self-service or lead generation. That's what belong there. So you would like to make your clients more self-sufficient. If we go further in this discussion and thinking about the integration, question is, but why we would like to have integration? Why we would like to put effort on spending time and invest money to the integration? So the question is, what value the integration brings to our products? And I can easily mention a couple of them, but in this presentation, I would like to point to the three main ones, which I will start with the seamless experience. End user should not be distracted by interacting with the system. They would like to have smooth and nice experience. They would like to create quote, not relog into the other systems. So the seamless experience, it's achievable using the integration. Another aspect is no data maintenance, no double data maintenance. We would like to avoid redundancy. And there is one rule that I always use in the project. We should have one source of the information. Not two, not three, not five, only one. We should avoid and try and aim to avoid double maintenance. Which give us another third point for this discussion, that the data will be consistent. What does it mean? Data for the sales representative needs to be up to date, consistent in all of the system, and also the data needs to be accurate. Those are my three main bullets here. Interesting information I dig out a few months ago that Gartner research has found that organizations believe that poor quality of data is responsible for average of $15 million per year in losses. That, I think, it's a very good example why those things, why we have integration in place. At the end, we will benefit from that. So we discussed landscape that we have. We could have a lot of potential integration. We discussed that it's worth to put an effort for the integration, to implement integration in your product. But we need to touch another topic for that. Every system in your landscape, in your company, in your solution, needs to have a purpose. And this purpose needs to meet what this tool is designed for. If you start mixing designed, intended users of the tools, most likely you will end up in bad situation after time. So that's why it's very important to define the landscape and use tools they're designed to. And at the end, integrate them together. We have CRM, we have Tacton CPQ, we have ERP. Let's join them together. Let's use the benefits of having CRM in place together with Tacton CPQ and together with the ERP. And to do that, let the middleware be a point of contact. Middleware should communicate with with all of these pieces together and send the information in the right and established and connected way. If we look from the integration strategy, I put to this slide a couple of points that we need to keep in mind when we are establishing integration strategy. One of them is a middleware. Let the middleware be a central point of your integration. You want to have direct connection between the Tacton CPQ and the CRM. You would like to have direct connection between Tacton CPQ and ERP. Let's do it. But we should have one central middleware which will work as a conductor in the orchestra. That will allow us to have the smooth processes, which will allow us to achieve our goals in the project. Another aspect of the integration strategy is that the integration needs to be agnostic. We need to allow different software systems to connect and communicate to each other, regardless of what specific technologies we applied. It needs to be generic. We would like to, at the end, ensure that we have seamless communication. And the last thing, is be prepared for change. Integration most likely is like living organism. The same with the implementation of the CPQ. Things will change over the time. Maybe you would like to add or replace one of the systems, or maybe expand your landscape with another tool, another system, structure the data differently. So you need to keep in mind and be prepared for change inside your integration strategy. So now let's deep dive to the sales process integration. Let's look at on the sales process and the integration aspect from the sales representative. What kind of data we would like to send, when we'll start the quotes, how it's end up on the ERP system. And this is exactly the process which is one of the most important in our businesses, from the lead to order. And one of the most important benefits having integration that we can automate this process. So in CRM, we'll keep our demand. Tacton will provide solution to this demand. At the end, in this flow, production will take care to meet expectation described in the solution. We'll manufacture, configure product. If we focus on the CRM and Tacton CPQ phase here, most likely we'll keep some information inside the CRM. In this case, we are using Salesforce, but it can be any type, any kind of CRM. So most likely we'll have lead, account, and opportunity. What are the differences between those? Let's assume that lead is something someone is interested. The account is someone is really interested. So you spend time and effort and you create account inside the CRM. And opportunity is like a selling opportunity. Someone asks for something and you can store it inside the CRM and be prepared for sell to this person. All of this information with the integration can be sent to Tacton CPQ solution, which will provide you an answer to this particular needs, to the client demand. Once we get solution provided by Tacton, we can generate quote. And this information we can send back to the CRM. That's happy path, that simple flow. You can, based on that, you can think how you can expand your selling process here, meet your client-specific requirements. Maybe you would like to put some constraints around information in the CRM. For example, maybe you would like to say that this particular configuration is not valid for a specific country. That also fine. Tacton will provide you a solution, but to provide you a solution, we need to get data which will be sent via the integration. And there's a couple of benefits of having such integration in place. You can use, as I mentioned, customer opportunity data in the process in solutioning. It means that you can transfer information specific, which depends on the configuration. Configuration depends on that data. You can send it to the Tacton CPQ and we can consider them. Also, sending quotes back to the CRM, you could also benefit from that. You can use information in the CRM for aggregation, for reporting, for forecasting. These are features available in the CRM, and CRM are really good at it. So let's use the tools that are designed to. And one of the main users of the CRM is that you will store signed contractor. You can have e-sign. And you can also book events around the proposals in the CRM. Everything what is around relationship, the client, should be stored in the CRM. But that was first half. When we have contract signed, we have configuration, we store this information inside the Tacton CPQ. Now let's think on the second half, how we can manufacture that solution. So let's create some space here. And what kind of information most likely we'll have? Definitely all the information from the CRM. We have it inside the Tacton CPQ. So we have account, we have opportunity, we have solution. And also, as Tacton provides as a solution, we have configuration result. It could be bill of material. It could be external calculation. It could be calculation result. In overall, that's configuration result. This information can be sent to the ERP to create an order. And this order status can be sent back to Tacton CPQ. So looking at sales process integration from the second end, there is a couple of benefits. But the most important benefit is that we can automate the order management process. We can create order automatically. Tacton CPQ will provide us with the solution. We have always valid solution. So the order accuracy will be high. There is no room for mistake. And also because the process is automated, we can send this information automatically, which will speed up the order creation. However, that's the horizontal line. As previously, CRM, Tacton CPQ, ERP. That's the sales process from gather the demand from the client, provide solution, Tacton CPQ, and manufacture. Provide right solution, provide configuration result. We need to have other sources of the data. We need to have a data in place, how to define your product, what is your product structure. So we can look at it from the different perspective. We can say it is the master data integration. Everything what will be stored and considered as a master data, it's inside this slide. So first of all, you would like to define your data. You will define your product structure in the PLM. As I mentioned, PLM is a really good tool to define product lifecycle inside the PLM, have all the details that engineers requires to define the product. And this information can be fed using the API calls to the Tacton CPQ. Once we have product and we are able to solve configuration problem, we would like to price it. We can store pricing data inside the Tacton CPQ, but also we can integrate pricing data from the other sources and use the tools that are designed to store this information. Another aspect is the product information. As I mentioned earlier, maybe PLM don't have all the data required to generate the quotes. Maybe some translation are missing. Maybe some text and images are missing. Maybe some marketing material are also not stored in the PLM because they shouldn't be. PLM is to define the product. So we could use other system to feed this information. And last and not least, we could have product data, lead time and cost stored and sent from the ERP to Tacton CPQ. For example, if you store critical business data inside your ERP, for example, lead time, you can send this information from ERP to Tacton CPQ, having one place of the storage, which will be ERP, one source, and then send this all information to Tacton CPQ, which allows the sales rep to use that information and prepare accurate quote, including lead time and the cost. So that's self-improvement. As previously, there is a couple of benefits. I pointed 3 of them. The first thing, using the integration for the master data objects, master data information, we keep the information in only one place and distribute to the other systems. We can also send the data from Tacton CPQ and make sure that all the systems are in sync. So the data will be consistent and accurate. And finally, we can pull in any business critical parameters from your systems, from external sources to Tacton CPQ to be able to establish the price and configuration to make sure that the current configuration really meets sales representation and customer needs. All of this, it's possible because Tacton is very well prepared and have a lot of APIs accessing different type of data. In place, we have REST API, we have CRUD, we have DirectSer, we have Master Data API, we have product modeling, pricing, data import automation APIs, and also API for analytics. All of these APIs are prepared and exposed that you can do your integration in the good, agnostic way. Depends on the details in your product, depends on the details on your specific sales process. You can use different APIs. For example, I will say that if you would like to feed master data, easily you can do it via the API, master data API. However, if you would like to have real-time connection and send information in the real time to your environments, I would recommend that you should have data import automation in the API in usage, because this will allow you to have real-time integration to the other system, and sales rep will be all the time informed and have accurate data to work with. I didn't mention all of the APIs. We have much more. My main thing from that slide is just one thing. We are prepared for integration. We are prepared for integration, and we are preparing middleware to use that information. We recommend to have middleware as an access point and get this information and send this information in the agnostic and orchestration method to other systems. I would like to end up my presentation with one sentence that I hope you will remember. Let your landscape be agnostic and build for the future changes.